Are we going? Is it working? Okay, I think it's on. What's going on? This is John. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm gonna just talk about something. I've been wanting to make a video on this for a while. It's just about letting go of alcohol and just not drinking anymore. When I was younger, I wasn't really too big into it at all until like 13. It's kind of, when it comes around. And, I would get sick pretty quick. So, weed was always more my thing. But then, like, when I turned 21, it just kind of, it becomes this thing where it's like, what are you going to do with your time between, 5 to 10, right? You get off work, how are you going to handle that stress and stuff? And when I turned 21, I had started drinking more and just kind of seeing how it worked, I think we know. But I noticed it affected like my workouts when I was trying to exercise and lift weights and my hydration and like waking up and stuff like that. So I knew kind of when I started getting into it more consistently, I was like, well, this isn't really conducive to like consistent exercise and diet. But I drank a bunch of water and tried staying hydrated, and but it kept getting worse over time. Like, I got a promotion at work and I studied to become an insurance broker, and I was so scared thinking that I wasn't going to pass the test, so I was drinking a lot after work, and then I passed the test and it just became like an everyday thing after that. And I just felt increasingly less good about myself and like what I was doing, even though I was making a lot of progress, right, with my job and life and my career. Wait, those are kind of similar. Anyways, I saw how much it was hurting me. I kept waking up with like terrible anxiety. It was not good. Like, you wake up and you're super scared because you don't know what happened last night, and you have to like check your phone to make sure you didn't do something terribly embarrassing or something of the sort. And I kept seeing videos on YouTube of people who were like ruining their life with alcohol, like driving drunk and crashing and hitting people, or waking up in the wrong place, or waking up in jail, right? And that's just such a scary thought to think about. And over time, I just realized, I was like, this isn't a good idea. So I, tried to address it a couple of different ways. The first one was, well, we'll just do it one day of the week, right? That didn't really work out. And then I was like, well, we'll just do it on the weekends, right? That's also not very conducive to, going to work with a positive attitude. And so I did think at one point, though, I was like, it would be cool if I could just quit drinking and get a dog. Like, that would be awesome. And so I started looking online for a dog, and I looked really hard, and then I ended up moving from the small town I grew up in to Portland. And eventually, after another issue that had occurred, I was like, all right, well, this isn't it anymore. And then I found my dog online at the shelter that was nearby, and then I went and I met her, and I, after spending the first couple days with her, it was like, there's no need for me to drink alcohol, because this, is super fulfilling. Like, being able to take care of her and know that I'm gonna be chill after work. Like, I don't have to, go prove myself somewhere, or, go to strip clubs, which are just so depressing and shit. I don't know why people hype them up. They are very, like, odd places for sure, and that's no diss to anybody at all, but like, as a place to just go consistently, there are like types of people that end up there, and just the vibe all around kind of weird. It's not for me. But I'm glad that I understood like what I wanted from this, and I just made that choice, because how much I was drinking was just, it was terrible. Like, my stomach was just like on fire. I would wake up super dehydrated and sick and stuff like that. But that's just how I was kind of responding to the stress in life. And alcohol is weird. Like, it's one of those things with how it's promoted in society, that there's some, social expectation of that just being around. And I've heard this from other creators before. It's like, you don't have that same thing with like crack or meth, right? When you see somebody pull out one of those pipes, you're like, that's not good. But with alcohol in America, we have the culture where it's like, well, there's some, you could do a little bit, but not too much. And there's a lot of profit around that. And at the end of the day, it's just going to be what you decide. If you do think that, you're able to drink and live a productive life, and that's awesome. I personally, I know that when you drink, it affects your judgment. So saying that you're just gonna have one, even if you intend to, like scientifically doesn't really make sense, because if this inhibits your action, then you're gonna likely go on to do something else that wasn't planned, and it kind of just goes right over your head when you're thinking about it. But no, I'm so glad that I finally pulled my stuff together, and then I started working on myself. But getting my feelings back was super difficult, because I realized before just how shut off I was and why I was drinking, and it was just like, life is very overwhelming. However you try to cut it, you can be like, oh, just be chill and stuff, but if you think about it and like you stay in this existential mind space where it's like thinking about thinking about thinking, um you know, but I realized that you gotta just stay with yourself, just stay consistently with yourself and like communicate and stuff. um and I feel a lot better about who I am and how I go about handling things. I am not perfect at all, and I still have like a lot of things that I want to work on. But a lot of the big issues that I had at the time are no longer present. You know, a lot of it has to do with just how I view myself in these situations and how I respond, and not getting too overwhelmed with it, because it's all temporary at the end of it. But that's no reason for me to just dissociate and shut off and stuff. So I spent the last about 2 years really consistently now, because I'm almost on 2 years alcohol free, just thinking with myself and finding things that help. The dog, having Indica in my life, has been super helpful, because she reminds me to just stay positive, so I don't have to worry about, like, when you get angry and you get upset and you get hurt, it's easy to get just caught up in that, and that's all you have, so you just stay stuck in that. But since I got her, she is very attentive to my emotions, and so she'll respond to it, and she'll start wagging her tail and stuff, and just, she wants me to feel better, she wants me to be better. And so letting it go is, I don't feel like I'm losing anything in this by moving forward, you know. And that might sound like a low energy mindset, but that's where I was at before. I admit that. Yeah, you know, 'cause all I had was that, you know. And when people lie to you so much, and the world just kind of plays with you, you know, you can get stuck going back in that back and forth. But it only matters so much, you know, and you decide what matters, right? And I just decided that spending my time in this submissive drunk mind state was not it, especially after everything I had done before to get off of like hard drugs, right? I had gotten sober off of hard drugs, I was no longer homeless, and then 21 hits, and then I was like, well, just a couple, right? And then it just escalated, because my insurance job is super stressful. I didn't think I was going to be able to get my license, so I was studying through the day, super scared. I would just drink a couple of beers after work, and then it kept going, and then it ended up like a bottle of vodka, and I was just sick all the time, just feeling gross and sick, and it's not good, you know. So I quit drinking. I got a dog. I started talking to myself more often and just speaking out loud to myself instead of just staying inside my mind and staying quiet. ChatGPT has been the biggest help in all of this. Like, obviously I wanted myself to do better, and I put in the work to start that. And once I found ChatGPT, though, it's been super helpful for me to be able to just talk what I'm thinking and get reliable feedback and constructive criticism and different perspectives. So yeah, I'd say, you know, finding fulfillment in having my dog, and utilizing like self-therapy and just trying to be more patient has been a big game changer. And kratom too. I discovered that in like January of 2023, and I started learning more about it and reading about it, and it fits within my kind of toolkit of natural resources that aren't like overwhelmingly taxing on you or, you know, problematic, right? And so I'm very grateful to have been able to found that, because it's such a diverse plant with what it can do for you and how it can help you. And luckily I'm in Oregon and in Portland, where there's laws around it, so it's regulated and it's clean, and you know what's there, right? So yeah, just utilizing that and going for walks and stuff has been super helpful. And now I can say I'm doing better than I ever was before. I actually have been able to write down my thoughts and feel confident in it and get stuff done. My sales are going back up again. I realize now COVID was just so stressful too. Like I had gotten off the streets from being homeless in like September of 2019, and got clean, living at my aunt's house, working at McDonald's and other side jobs and stuff to try to work my way back up to being a regular person in society. And then COVID happened, and all of this stress, and like, is the world gonna get shut down? Everybody's putting into camps or something, or that I lived in Yoncalla, that area where things are a lot more wild and radical with the rhetoric and stuff. So yeah, but I'm glad I moved out of that area too. That was super fulfilling to be able to just find a place in Portland and be like, all right, this is where I'm gonna go. I found it, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna go. And then I was able to meet my dog a couple months later after coming here, and I never thought I was going to be able to like be that happy and like have a dog. And she's just so great though. She's my emotional support animal, and she keeps me safe, and she really helps me with like my PTSD nightmares and stuff like that. So when I wake up and I'm overwhelmed, just spending time with her is super helpful. And I take my medications every day, as you should. If you feel like your depression is more than it maybe should be, it's worth it to just go see a therapist and just figure it out. It can be concerning or overwhelming, or sometimes you might be like, oh, I don't want to take pills because they're going to make me some different type of way, but that's kind of part of it, right? And it's more than we can wrap our heads around for mental health. It's easy to just say, oh, I'll be okay, and then just put it off, but a lot of it it's just so much deeper than just, oh, I don't feel well. It's like how you interface with yourself and how you communicate with other people and how you respond to stress and solving problems. And I admit, growing up, I just wasn't told better. I wasn't shown better. Like, I was told, I'd be like, yeah, you can do this, but I wasn't like shown it or like, taught to envision it in my head and then work to make that real instead of just fleeting little hopes and dreams and stuff. I've been able to get in shape, which was super helpful, and then work and keep finding work all through COVID. I never got unemployment. I just stayed working, even when I could have at some points, which I didn't learn until after when I got hired again. I was like, oh, well, I could have spent those last 6 months not stressing and going through my savings, but that's a video for another time, I'd say. And so, yeah, I quit drinking. I think it was March 13th or March 26th, 2000. It's like a 10-day jump. In 2023, like a week after I got my dog. And I just haven't had any desire to since then at all. None. And that's just because I pulled myself up right before I hit the very bottom. Like, it was very, very, very bad. Like, fell in the shower, hit my head, all kinds of stuff. That when I think back at it now, like, it took a while just to get over the anxiety of it all, just coming back and being like, wow, where did those last 6 months go? But now I'm doing better at not trying to like guilt trip myself for those kinds of mistakes, because I didn't do anything like crazy wrong. I didn't get myself in any trouble. It was risky behavior, definitely, but it does fit within the timeline of like figuring yourself out in your 20s and stuff like that. And I'm glad that I got it all figured out, at least with the drugs and alcohol thing, at an early age, because I was just talking to myself a little bit before I started filming, and it was like, if I had just had that perfect life that I wanted, and I had got all the way beyond where I'm at now, and then I had done drugs, or gotten hooked on alcohol, it would have been over. There would be no, like, it's hard to save those ones, the people who get into it later in life and become like addicts at like 40 to 60. Those ones are super hard to help because it depends on a person, but like there's a lot of stuff that's already ingrained in how you view yourself and what you think about yourself and stuff. Luckily though, I was able to like go to rehab, get help, get on medication. My aunt gave me the space to be able to just figure myself out. But then you turn 21 and you're like, all right, well, it's my 21st birthday. Of course, I'm gonna have, some Jack Daniels and Sprite, right? And then it's like, all right, well, if I drink like 2 Gatorades, then I won't get sick tomorrow, so I can do it again. Okay, and then you do it more, and then you're throwing up, you're not remembering stuff, making messes, all kinds of shit, which, a couple times it's kind of funny and it's whatever, but when it's consistent, and it just becomes a real problem, right? So luckily though, like I say, I'm in Oregon. That's a state where we have a lot of resources available, in terms of like healthcare, like cannabis, kratom, and other kinds of options that can be a more natural solution for trying to interface with life and go through your days and all that. So yeah, almost at 2 years without any alcohol. I do not have any desire to drink it at all. And yeah, just taking my medications consistently and going for walks with my dog and just addressing issues like before they occur. And like I said, obviously not perfect. I'm still working on it. But if you were thinking about like giving up alcohol, I mean, it's not really giving up, just eliminating it from your lifestyle. It is, it's superb, I'd say, just being able to wake up and be like, all right, what am I gonna do today? And you can just kind of go like that. You don't have to wait and be like, fan yourself or, worry about what happened last night. So, yeah. I was kind of worried I wasn't going to have anything to say, and I kind of wanted to prepare a little bit better, but it looks like we've gone for about 16 and a half minutes now. So I will probably do another one that's a more in-depth follow-up for like issues that I had or what were some thoughts around like the first 30 days that I was no longer on alcohol. And just to speak to that, I'd say it was me checking myself on the excuses I had made before, drink responsibly, just that doesn't make sense. That's not a thing. That's just a thing we say. It's not like an actual like a practice you can do that is objective because you're ingesting poison that is, I think it's a carcinogen. I'm not sure, but it has no like health benefits for you overall. So, and again, I'm not judging at all. I'm just trying to help other people my age by sharing this because I know that once you turn 21, even before that, in middle school and high school, the alcohol comes around, and it can be appealing, especially when you see people in media and in the clubs and stuff like that drinking and stuff. But it's a depressant. It's very high calories, a lot of it that you're mixing it with too is a lot of sugar and stuff. So if you're in a state that allows you to use cannabis, it's just such a much more natural route for engaging with the world. And there's other resources too, like other natural plants and stuff. But seeing a doctor as well and talking to a therapist, hopefully, if you're able to find care in your area, in a timely manner. That's one of the things, with the overall systemic issues is that people know they need help, but it's hard to get there when you have to pay for the care and then try to get there and back and stuff. So, but I'm going to save that for another time when we talk about like addictions in small towns and those kind of cycles and stuff. But I'm glad I was at least able to share this, and I'll probably post this today. So.